Hi everybody, Julie Lancaster of Lancaster Consulting here, and I'm here to talk with you today about the role of risk-taking in leadership. It's essentially about being brave. What we know about risk-taking is that everybody has different comfort zones, right? What's comfortable to one person can look very different to somebody else. So the idea is, how do we expand that comfort zone? What we're talking about is not stuff like going way out on a limb, like bungee jumping or jumping out of an airplane. What we are talking about is calculated risk-taking, where you're innovating, where you're expanding that comfort zone. And again, it can be very small or very big. It looks different for everybody. First of all, what are the benefits? Like, why should we even try that? The real goal is that you can possibly improve, right? It's whether it might be improving your happiness, or it might be improving your productivity. Trying something new that you don't yet know what the outcome is going to look like could be really amazing. So that's what we're going for. So I have 4 tips for you today. The first thing is thinking about your response to failure. We all have failure in our lives, and I know that's a pretty extreme term. We might say setbacks or challenges, but what do we do? How do we respond after the fact? When my daughter was young, I remember one time she spilled a giant jar of sugar all over the kitchen, and before I had a chance to respond or even show any kind of disapproval, she just looked at me and with this big smile said, "Accidents happen." And so I wonder if we can take on that attitude. It's the same idea that John Maxwell talks about in regards to failing forward. How can we look at this as lessons learned? We debrief lessons learned, what we would do differently next time, what we've learned from the situation, because we're all going to have those situations. The second is listen to your body. Sometimes we get really caught up in our heads and we can start to get this paralysis by analyzing what we should do. If in the moment that you're faced with something that's out of your comfort zone, your body will tell you. For me, my heart rate speeds up. I sometimes start sweating. That's when each of us can know that it's at a bravery crossroads. If you can ask yourself in that moment, what would I do if I weren't afraid? Often the answer becomes quite clear. So the third is probably one of the most underutilized opportunities that exists, is imagine a positive outcome. We are really quite, we're amazing. We're so good at being able to imagine what could go wrong. So if we can get in a really grounded place ahead of time and think about, what might this look like if it goes really well? We create more of that track, that opportunity for it to go well, because we're already primed and thinking of that instead of imagining how it could go wrong. And the very last thing, the fourth, is set bravery goals. I know it sounds simple. However, we all know the benefits of goal setting, right? So if you can, whether it's once per day or once per quarter, set bravery goals without judgment of yourself, right? The small ones are just fine, the big ones are just fine. And with that, get an accountability partner, somebody who you really trust, you value, and you know would also be non-judgmental as you would be of them, and share with them. What we also know about goal setting is whenever we share one of our goals out loud, we're so much more likely to accomplish it. We say it out loud and someone follows up with us to say, how'd that go? It's exponentially possible for it to happen. So if you have some ideas you would like to share with us, or the impacts of bravery on your life, or if you'd like to learn more about what we do, please feel free to go over to lancasterleadership.com. And thanks so much for watching.